white working class people will be too afraid to go on the street and demonstrate. That's why he won't U-turn. Executive orders, and he got started straight away with the things that people have been saying for decades can't be done, and he started doing it on day one. Well, you were more excited for Trump because you know he brings change. It's going to be a roller coaster. We've got no idea where his presidency is going to lead. We hope it leads to a better world. But you knew exactly what Cameron, exactly what Sunak and Starmer was going to bring. They were just bringing more of the same. So there was no excitement for those premierships because we knew it was just a continuation of what's been going on for decades. Now Trump's hit the ground running. There's a video out today that I've shared this morning of ICE, which is their immigration enforcement service, smashing down doors, arresting immigrants. There's one of I think he's black, um, Haitian or Brazilian or something, and he's shouting "F Trump." I love Obama. Bring back Biden. They treated me better. And he's committed 9 crimes on American soil since he's been here, and they can't deport him. But he's in a safe city that never used to work with the immigration services, so he could stay there undercover because though that city would not deport him. But they've changed all that now on the first day of the Trump administration. What things have you seen him doing and things he's going to do that excite you?
Similar to you, I've been watching the immigration videos and I've seen whether it's, I can't verify the photos, but from what I've seen, it's people taking them and it's lines of people being put onto planes and being sent back to their countries of origin. That's what it's showing. And it's showing people trying to get through the wall the wall that Biden almost tore down, if you will. Um, and they're being pushed back, saying, no, you're not coming in here anymore. And the immigration authorities are actually on Trump's side all the way through. They said they were going to vote Trump. They were sick of having to basically do their jobs with both hands tied behind their backs. They couldn't do their jobs because the administration under Biden wanted to let all these people in, and Trump's actually deporting these people at a rapid rate. I'm looking forward to how he deals with Putin. I think that's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to him humiliating Keir Starmer on a selfish level. He's already doing that, by the way, because he's not even spoken to Starmer yet, and it's been what, 5 days? And that usually the British Prime Minister is one of the first on the list to be spoken to, and he's not even bothered to call him yet. You can just imagine the panic in Number 10. You can imagine Starmer sitting by that phone waiting for it to ring, and it simply isn't. And to see people like Farage, Braverman, Priti Patel, even Ant Middleton was there, the ex-SAS soldier, that at this inauguration, and yet the Prime Minister wasn't invited. Now, to be fair, British Prime Ministers don't normally attend the inauguration, but they do always get invited. And Starmer wasn't even invited. Nobody from Labour was, as far as I can remember, and that is humiliating.
Hmm. No, fantastic. I mean, I love the way he started on day one. He got sworn in, he went straight to his office and he started signing instructions and signing, what is it, the executive orders. And he got started straight away with the things that people have been saying for decades can't be done. And he started doing it on day one. I just hope it sends the message around the world that these things can be done. I think it's going to be a great year. I think he'll make some mistakes. I don't think everything he's going to attempt will work because he's not a god. He's only a man. But I think the fact he's trying and the fact he'll achieve so much is going to be a wonderful sight, and it's going to change Western politics.
I've just found the one person from the Labour Party that was invited to the inauguration. One. And it's a guy called Lord Glasman that I've never heard of in my life. And he's the only person apparently to be invited by Trump to the inauguration. And he said that Trump is very, very skeptical about the Labour government quotation. And he also said, apparently he told US figures that you've mistaken us. We are not a Liberal Party. We are the Labour Party. So what sort of message that's sending, I don't know. I think Trump, it could be really exciting for us. He could benefit us a lot if he wants to. And I think he will humiliate Labour. And I think it will be. He's not going to cause a diplomatic incident. He's not going to cut off diplomatic ties or anything like that because that would be just too much trouble. It'd cause too much trouble. What he's going to do is isolate them. Mandelson, if he gets accepted at all, which is still debatable, is apparently going to have no access to go anywhere. He's basically going to be sat there and he'll be an ambassador in name only. So he's basically going to be out of a job. Lammy thinks he's Trump's best friend because he give him an extra piece of chicken. All the statements that Lammy made are out there. Trump knows exactly what he's called him, and now he's in power. Lammy will not have access to Trump. He will not have access to the US, the administration, the White House, you name it. He will soon be out of a job. And if Starmer can't get a relationship with the US, which is absolutely critical to us, not because of not just national security and our cultural similarities, etc., in history, but also economically, the US is absolutely vital for us. They are the number one investors in the UK, and we are the number one investors in the US. And if that relationship breaks down, it won't be the US that suffers, it'll be us that suffer. And quite frankly, we're suffering enough at the moment because of this government. So Starmer's got to find a way to put people in positions who can actually work with the US. And that could mean a climb down that he can't do, and that could mean putting somebody like Farage in there or something like that, and that is something that Starmer cannot do. He'd have to resign rather than going cap in hand to someone like Nigel Farage.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think Starmer has come to the conclusion that he has no intentions of working with Trump. I think he knows he's going to be ignored by Trump, so therefore he's not going to try. I think he hopes things may improve, but I don't think he's going to do any brown nosing, any creeping, any begging, because that will look bad upon his voter base. His voter base is very anti-American anyway. I think he'll just play it the best way he can, which is, well, the Americans ignore us, that's fine, but we ignore the Americans. Everything will happen backdoor, such as sharing of intelligence. Those things will carry on regardless of who's in power. Those things need to go on. And Trump will want those things going on because he knows whoever replaces Labour will be a better friend anyway. I just think the American government and our government will basically spend the next year or two ignoring each other.
Do you not think that Starmer did do a bit of begging? Did you not see on the day of the inauguration that silly statement that Labour put out of Starmer saying, I wish President Trump all the best and all this lot? And he's stood there giving his silly hand gestures while he's talking. So I thought, dear God, you'd have been better off saying nothing. You look desperate. There are people from the British establishment over there from all different parties, by the way, including now, as we've just found out, one from the Labour Party. But there are people from all over the establishment, and he doesn't want you there. You'd have been better keeping your mouth shut. Don't give out some silly statement like you're begging to be noticed, like, oh, I'm over here, that's absolutely ridiculous.
It was, but but having a public statement from the British Prime Minister would have been expected. If he hadn't have done it, that may then have led to the public understanding that these governments aren't getting on. At the moment, most people have got no idea what goes on in politics. So I think he was just basically trying to keep the peace. And if things go wrong, he's hoping he won't be blamed. Well, I thanked him when he became president. I put a statement out. I think this is just all diplomatic channels that I've expected, but we will see. It's going to be a fantastic year with Trump in office, and we'll find out exactly what's going on and what he achieves. Because what he achieves there will filter through here.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah, and yeah, I mean, I agree with you. A public statement. I mean, would a letter have sufficed, and then publish that letter publicly so that everyone can see you sent a letter of congratulations? And like you said, I do agree with you. You can turn around at the end if relations do break down or whatever, and just say, well, it was nasty, Mr. Trump, nothing to do with me. I tried my best and all this stuff. But if I mean, will Starmer be willing to bend to the changes that Trump will almost certainly want in Starmer's cabinet? And Starmer can't really be seen to be bowing to the will of the American president. An American president can't be seen to be getting rid of our foreign secretary. He can't be seen to be getting rid of our ambassador. Maybe Starmer will just leave them in those jobs, even though they're absolutely powerless because the Americans simply won't deal with them. I don't know. I suspect that's probably the way it would go, actually.
I think that is the way it'll go. Because if he starts removing people to get a better relationship from Trump, his voter base, the people waiting to stab him in the back, will all jump on that. You have a weak prime minister, you have a puppet of the American prime minister, of the American president. it would be the end of him, and he knows that, and that's why he won't do it. But the country will suffer, and we will suffer because of it. But then a new government will come at some point, and then things may take off then.